Hello and welcome back to another Challenger TCG video. My name is Villionaire, joined once again by my friend and teammate Alexander the Greatest, and we're going to be counting down the top 10 cards in the Riftbound Origins Set 1 format. These are by far the most powerful cards in the game at the moment, and you should expect to see them played against you many times. Let's jump right into the countdown. Kicking off the countdown at number 10 is Gust, a 1 energy spell at reaction speed that says return a unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less to its owner's hand. Gust is essentially a 3 of in every Chaos deck because the tempo gained from it is just too good for 1 energy. Not only do you send your opponent's first turn play back to their hand, essentially negating their first turn of investment, but it also prevents not only the point from the capture, but also the hold, essentially setting your opponent back 2 points in tempo. Not only that, but this card is reaction speed, meaning that it is the fastest spell speed in the game. It can also be used in a multitude of ways. This card does not specify opponent's units. It can also be used to save your own units from dying in combat or dying to a removal spell. It can also be used in response to an opponent's combat trick where they are pumping their own unit or minusing your unit in order to make a favorable trade, and then you can either bounce your unit back to hand or send their unit back to their hand, making sure that the battle goes your way. This is one of the most powerful combat tricks for this energy cost, and with no power cost attached whatsoever, Gust had to squeak in at number 10 on this list.
Coming in at number 9, we have Dead Bloom Predator. It is an 8 energy, 2 orange power, 8 might unit. It has Deflect. It says you may play me to an occupied enemy battlefield. And why this is so good is it's one of the few bombs that actually instantly contests a point, as well as doubling its removal for anything that might be in that point. It's rare you're going to see more than 8 might in any given point at a time. It also scores you a point as well. Overall, this card is just incredible. It's very good in Aurora decks. It's just one of the best bombs, especially in orange, and even throughout the game as a whole, and that's why this card is going to earn itself the number 9 slot.
Coming in at number 8 is Void Seeker for 3 energy and a Fury power. This is a spell at action speed that says deal 4 to a unit at a battlefield, draw 1. Pretty much seeing play in every red deck nowadays. 2-for-1s are always good in card games, which are, resource management games where you're trying to find value. Cards that remove cards that your opponent plays from the board and replace themselves are always going to be 2-for-1s. 2-for-1 is great value. With low investment cost and high upside, it's not hard to see why Void Seeker made it to number 8 on this list.
Coming in at number 7, we have Hidden Blade. This is a 2 energy, 1 might order card. As its name implies, it can be hidden. Go figure. And it is an action speed card that kills a unit at a battlefield and its controller draws 2. This is by far one of the best spot removals that the game has to offer. It's in pretty much every order deck. And why this card is so great is because it has so many options to it. It's like almost like a modal card, but it's very straightforward. So you can set this at a battlefield for the low cost of just 1 power. And this gives you the option of being able to either kill any unit that would attempt to take that point from you, or if you know you're just going to end up losing the fight and the point anyways, you just delete your own guy and draw 2, and since you are losing that guy anyways, you're actually going +1 effectively on cards, even though you would have lost the guy to do this. It also can be held in your hand kind of as a surprise, so setting it as a little broadcasted, especially where a lot of these order decks aren't really playing multiples, and being able to hold this in your hand and just use spot removal on anything you need to. Sometimes you don't care if they draw the 2 because you're just trying to tempo them out, and the 2 cards in their hand isn't actually going to make a difference. Or again, you can just use it on your own guy and draw 2 for yourself. This card is very powerful, and that's why it's going to take the number 7 slot.
Coming in at number 6 on the list is Kaisa Survivor. Kaisa is a 4 energy unit for 4 might with Accelerate that says when I conquer, draw 1. This is a very simple and very powerful effect that we see attached to lots of other cards that have power costs, But this card does not have a power cost. It has an optional power cost. If you end up paying a power for this card, it is for its accelerate cost, which brings it in readied and lets you claim that conquer and draw one on the turn it comes into play, which is also very powerful. And while the accelerate mode is great and often used, the real power of this card is that it does not cost you power. It easily allows you to make a very powerful turn 2 play and helps you go straight to your 6 ruin turn, whereas you're now turned on for things like Singularity or Riptide Rex. Sometimes you'll draw multiple cards out of this because the 4 might body is respectable and may even survive a turn cycle, allowing you to retreat at home and get even more value out of this card. She's easily the best champion unit in the game, and that secures Kaisa the number 6 spot on our list.
Coming in at number 5, we have Charm. This is a 1 energy, 1 power, move an enemy unit. Now, this card is one of the least self-explanatory cards in the game, so I'll explain what that means really quick. Pretty much just what it means is you can take an enemy unit from anywhere and move it to anywhere. So, for example, if you're contesting a point, you can move one of your opponent's units from another point to the point you're in and have those 2 guys fight, or you can move them from base to a point you're in, have those 2 guys fight, or you can just move an enemy unit off a point that you need to conquer because that unit is too big, and then you can move your unit to that point if you want to. So overall, this card is extremely versatile. What makes this so powerful is you get to do this all for the low cost of 1 energy and 1 power. This doubles as one of the best removal spells. It doubles as one of the best combat tricks. And even though it's not action speed, so it can't be used effectively as like a true combat trick, it is great because it's able to move any large unit out of the point, as I mentioned earlier. Ultimately, I think this card is it's so versatile in what it can do, but its low cost is really what brings it up there. It can effectively just be a 1 cost removal, which I think is one of the biggest upsides to this card, and that's why it's going to come in at number 5.
Coming in at number 4, we've got Singularity for 6 energy and 2 mind power. This is a spell that says deal 6 to each of up to 2 units. Singularity is one of the best removal spells in the game. Most notably, this spell does not care where those units are, so it can hit units at base, which is one of the strongest things that any removal spell can be doing in this game right now. And it hits for 6, which is just such a high number. Most units in the game are in the 3 to 4 range. Then once you start to get into the mid-range units, you start to see 5 and 6 might units, and that's pretty much where things cap off. There is some units in the 7 and up range, but they typically cost a ton and are not seeing much play outside of the Dazzling Aurora decks. So this card essentially will read kill 2 units most of the time, and that's just a crazy 2-for-1 value. The fact that it hits things at base just pushes it over the top and secures it the number 4 slot on this list.
Next up, coming in at number 3, we have Dazzling Aurora. This is a 9 energy, 2 body power gear, and this is one of the single most powerful gears in the game. It says at the end of your turn, reveal cards from the top of your main deck until you reveal a unit, play it, ignoring its cost, and then recycle the rest. This card is so good, it is the main win condition in many of the body-based decks that we are seeing right now, whether that's MF, whether that's Volibear. This card is just absolutely incredible. It's even seeing play in some of these newer Master Yi builds. It pretty much just churns out a guy every single turn. Your objective in most of these decks is just to ramp up. You're only playing bombs in your deck, so you really can't miss with this. You're just playing ramp cards every single turn, playing this Dazzling Aurora, and then every single turn you're playing a bomb from your deck, but you're also then playing a bomb from your hand and just overwhelming your opponent with a numerous amount of bombs. Overall, this card is incredible, and that's why it comes in at number 3.
In the runner-up position at number 2, we have Falling Star for 2 energy and 2 fury power. This is a spell that says do this twice, deal 3 to a unit. You can choose different units. Falling Star, like Singularity, is another removal spell that can hit things at base, but unlike Singularity, this thing only costs 2. It is super easy to weave in a Falling Star into your curve, and though it does set you back 2 ruins, Even decks like Volibear that are all about ramping into your late game are playing this card because it is simply that good. This thing will kill most units in the game and prevents a lot of units, especially ones that want to sit back in base with 3 might, from seeing play whatsoever. It will kill the first 2 things that your opponent plays in a game, and there's really no getting away from it. It is just so cheap and so efficient at what it does. The whole game is basically warping around this card, and in Kaisa, of course, you only pay 1 power, which is just absurd and sets you back very little for the value that you get. Some might even argue that this card deserves to be at number 1, but for us, we decided Falling Star came in at number 2.
And coming in at our number 1 is Thousand-Tailed Watcher, or as we like to call it, the Fox. It is a 7 energy, 1 mind power, 7 might card that says Accelerate, and when you play me, give enemy units -3 might this turn to a minimum of 1 might. This guy is the GOAT. He's not only just the best mind card in the game, but he is the best card in the game, in our opinion. This guy is just incredible. He is in every single mind deck. He has so much versatility as a finisher, being one of the absolute best in the game. He's able to get the Accelerate for 8 and come in and pretty much break any point, even against bomb decks, like Aurora decks, which have all these huge bombs in the point. He's even able to break through those a lot of the time. He's great against any of the smaller decks because you're pretty going to guarantee that you're going to clean up everything in the point and capture both of those points on that turn. And then having Accelerate himself allows him to double as a body that can attack. So if you only have one other body on the board, you're able to play him, attack a point with him, and then attack the weaker point with whatever your other body is. He's just the absolute best finisher. And even at a baseline, if you can't Accelerate him, he still just makes a 7 body and gives -3 to everything on the other board for the turn. This also gives -3 to guys that are not in the point. So if you have something like Singularity, for example, to pair with him, or Falling Star, where you just need these guys outside of the point to be shrunk so you can hit them with your removal, that works as well. Ultimately, this is the best card in the game. I love this guy. I would play him as a 3 of in every single mind deck that I were to play, and that's why this guy is going to come in at our number 1.
And that is going to conclude our top 10 list of best cards in Riftbound Set 1. But before we go, we just wanted to show a few honorable mentions on screen. These are cards that easily could have made the list and are very powerful, and you should expect to see a lot of these played as well. And if you like what we're doing and you'd like to support the channel, go ahead and like, subscribe, and most importantly, share this video. We'll see you guys again next time.